Hey guys, so I was given the suggestion of talking about my experiences with the new graphics card and how things have been going. You may have noticed that I went from GNOME to Hyprland again, and I was asked, are you using any specific, um, what do you call it, environmental variables for NVIDIA? No, no, I'm not, and I'm actually going to show you that right now because people are obsessed with thinking that NVIDIA is not good or it's extremely buggy when it comes to Hyprland, which is the farthest thing from the truth. This is all I've got in here, and nothing in here relates to NVIDIA, which is nice, because you don't actually need any environmental variables. I don't even need to force software cursor, which is kind of nice. So there's everything. All right. Now, the Hyperland situation is honestly amazing. I'm going to try to go over this the best that I can. I need to be more focused. So let's talk about HDR. HDR just works in Hyperland. There's no need for any specialness with GNOME or KDE where NVIDIA needs the VK HDR layer system. So that's nice. And setting up HDR inside of, you know, this type of system is super easy to do. I'll even run through it with you real quick, what I did. So I have 3 monitors. These are the 2 HDR monitors. This one is basically for making sure that my video is color accurate when I need to do that sometimes. That's the Dell workstation monitor that I bought a long time ago. So as you can see, SDR max luminance and SDR saturation, brightness, and I've got right now CM to sRGB because that's what my monitor is. But it still ends up displaying HDR content the way that it should, and it actually looks really good when it does work, you know what I mean? Now, right now, I have no color profile here, because I don't want to have HDR on this monitor, but if I did, I would just copy this, and I would go right below scale, and I would paste that and save that just like that. And, well, normally it would flicker, and things would change. So yeah. That's perfectly fine the way that that goes. Now you can set this to HDR, and it's gonna change it. And as you can see, HDR mode is enabled, and it probably looks really, really weird and oversaturated to you guys. sRGB. I'm gonna put it back to sRGB. And yeah, since both of these monitors are HDR and sRGB, I'd rather that be there. Now, this is only the first part of the story. Normally, when you're dealing with HDR, you're also going to have, where is it? The render stuff right here. So I have color FS pass through to 2. I have CM enabled to true, send content type equal true, and CM auto HDR to 2 with direct scan out to 2. And the new render scheduling set to true. So this is like as performant as you possibly can get when referring, for as far as I know, when it comes to, you know, gaming on Hyperland, because I have 0 performance difference between GNOME, KDE, and Hyperland, because you just have to actually have a properly working configuration. Just like, don't overdo the blur, man. It's not that hard. 4 and 6, that's it. It used to be 14 and 4, but I found it to be a little much. And if you want, you can actually change this to like 1, and it still looks really good. And you could change this to, let's say, 5, and look at that. Now you got like this more glassy type effect going on, and actually looks really, really nice. And every time I show someone this, they're like, "Your eyes must hate you." Why would they hate me? I can see everything perfectly. I have no issues whatsoever with my sight. I get a lot of people do, and I get where the frustration comes from, but yeah, the noise breakup helps a lot with any eye strain or any other issues. So yeah, so there's everything set up for that. All right, in terms of gaming, I have 2 games that I cannot play at full speed, only 2. and that would be The Last of Us Part 1, which has a 57% performance drop compared to Windows. And that's whatever. I'm not a fan of that game anyway. The game I am a fan of is Halo Infinite. And that, unfortunately, also has the 57% performance drop. It's a regression that happened, I believe, at the 570 driver and up, because it's been a long time since I've been testing games on NVIDIA to make sure that they've been working properly. But the issue is reported, which is nice, and I've reported which drivers I tested. I gave them the logs that they would require and everything like that. So yeah, there you go. And that's what you need to do, because there was people out there that were complaining, Monster Hunter, what is it called? Wilds does not work on the newest NVIDIA driver. I go searching through the NVIDIA forums where you report these bugs and issues. Not a single person reported the issue. They're all crying on ProtonDB as if that's the source of information to go to complain when a game works or a game does not work. No, Monster Hunter Wilds did work, and now it no longer works, which means it's a driver issue. And driver issues need to be solved. So I reported it. I explained how to reproduce it. They're currently looking into it, which is nice. I actually got feedback on that, and I'm very, very happy about that. I could not be happier. Now, I have RuneScape currently running in Vulkan, which is around 200 to 400 FPS, so that's not an issue. Silent Hill 2, the only difference between Windows and Linux is that on Windows it lets me use frame generation with DLSS. On Linux it does not, but I can use FSR, which then skyrockets it above 100 FPS, and it ends up being more playable that way anyway. This game is hopefully going to receive DLC treatment soon, and yes, I am hoping for DLC for one specific reason. Silent Hill F taught them more about Unreal Engine than any other project they've ever had. So if they could take the optimizations, because Silent Hill F runs like a fucking god, okay? It runs and looks 100 times better than Silent Hill 2 ever will, even with mods. It fixes so much crap. It gets rid of all this weird lumen effect garbly gobble, and it, like, I want that applied to Silent Hill 2 so I could have a better visual experience as well as a more optimized experience. But there's no performance difference between Silent Hill 2 and Windows on, Linux and Windows that I've noticed. There might be like 1 or 2 FPS gone. It's one of those games that is not affected by this whole 10 to 30%, for me at least, because being on a higher end GPU, you don't really notice that much of a drop. Days Gone runs at 280 FPS. That I am freaking ecstatic about, and I just could not be happier. Sons of the Forest runs like it always does. It reaches around 100 and some FPS. It's not a very well optimized game. Like most Unity titles, it runs like crap unless it's like some 2D little mobile half-breed game like Silk Song or whatever. Then you'll get like amazing performance out of it. But the Sons of the Forest kind of pushes Unity to its limits, which isn't really saying much because, well, it's Unity. Yeah, it comes out of the box completely unoptimized. Alright, Grounded 2 is a mess. Grounded 2 from release, even on Windows, has had NVIDIA performance issues. On the 9070 XT, I would get about 120 to 140 FPS with optimized settings. With those same optimized settings, I get about 70. So that's the only game I've had a major performance loss in, and the same issue applies on Windows, unfortunately, and I fucking hate it. Because this is a good fun game, and when it's complete, I want to go in and have some fun. This is an actual optimized Unity title, and it runs like gold. It just maxes out my FPS. I have zero issues or problems with it, so thank you, Star Ocean developers, for actually caring about your player base. This runs at max FPS of 120 because that's what limit it is set to, but you're forced to set it at 60 because there's something wrong with the engine. Grand Theft Auto V, zero issues, zero performance loss compared to Windows. Even with ray tracing completely maxed out, it runs like friggin' gold, and I love it. Dead Island 2, my favorite game in the entire world, runs better than it did with the 9070 XT. So again, this is an Unreal Engine 4 game, also DirectX 12, doesn't have the performance loss bug. Now, Guild Wars 2, this is one of those stories where we need to go into game real quick. And to do this, unfortunately, it needs to update some stuff, which is fine. And we're going to have an in-depth talk about something I've noticed that happens on Windows and Linux in general. Now, I have a specific spot for testing my performance because I am very, very picky about how this game runs because it's one of my favorite titles. It's my second favorite MMO besides RuneScape. RuneScape, I've got like 20 plus years on. Now, in any of my past videos where I've ever mentioned Guild Wars 2, you'll know that this area right here is around 340, 240, is it 200? One second, let me check the max. Okay, that's not even working. So there's some weird performance regression going on in its entirety for this game on both Windows and Linux. Yeah, so the max FPS for the engine is 240. So what would normally happen is I would come over here and it would be about 70 to 80 FPS, sometimes hitting like the 50s. I actually have to be staring straight forward and I'm not. There we go, 80, got it. All right, if you look up here, your FPS is just going to be fucking crippled because it's just so unoptimized, but most people don't look up, they look forward. But there you go. And if we look back here, normally it would shoot the FPS up to 240. It would be completely unaffected. There is something going on now in several areas in this game on both Windows and Linux that are having issues. That feels like I'm on using motion blur. Am I? No, good. And I don't know what it is, right? So it's not that. I got this to the lowest. I mean, I could put the shadows to none. And look, we get the FPS back. But what did they do to the shadows to cause this issue? Right? Normally I'll be here. Why is that such a big performance hit? It was never that big of a performance hit before. What about medium? Do you notice the problem? No matter what I put the shadows on, the performance is still crap. It's still, for some reason, stuck at around 120. The minute I put on low, 154, 238. What is happening? What did they do to the shadows that is causing this performance issue? Now I need to go on the forums and report this issue because this is ridiculous. Because it happens again on both Windows and Linux. So I would really, really, really like to know what the heck is going on. Now I don't mind playing like this at all. This looks fine to me. Like I'll come over here and well, it's nighttime, so showing you the difference between shadows on ultra and shadows on low is kind of hard, but it just adds more detail from the foliage. Like maybe if we stand right here. Okay, let's look at this. Let's go to options, move this over here. Medium, high, ultra. You see the difference? Now, my guess is they may have made ultra fully dynamic shadows without optimizing the rest of the engine to actually work for it. But this is fine for me. I don't have any real complaints. What they should have done is they should have made low look like ultra but static. That would have been nice. So there we go. All right. What else? What else did I try? Oh, Hogwarts Legacy runs like a goddamn dream. I have no issues. It's between 140 to 150 on DLSS quality mode. Stalker 2. Do I have actually images of that? Let me go put that over there. I was watching a video by him. The best part of the series is his first 5 episodes, and after that it gets repetitive as hell. I feel kind of bad for the guy, but it's whatever. Screenshots. Let's see if I can go back far enough to find the screenshots. Trying to find them right now. Aha. Aha. Okay. So, I have GNOME. So look at this. About 273. We go like this. There's the FPS that I render videos out in. And this is the time, well, the time that it takes to complete the render is about 22 seconds to 48 seconds. And yeah. Okay, we're supposed to go this way. Okay, 271. So I was actually trying to do a bunch of stuff here. 188, 202. So this is with path tracing on, set to 4x frame gen, because I wanted to try it out. It was smooth as butter. Yeah. This is with quality mode for DLSS 4, 57 FPS with path tracing mode on. And where is Hogwarts Legacy? Right. Nope, wrong one. There it is. So this is with DLSS frame gen set to 4, 356. And without it, it's basically 157 to whatever. And 140 to 157. So everything is super friggin' playable. And it makes me very, very happy. Very excited to be back on NVIDIA. So have I had any instances where they've been issues with KDE or no? There is a long-standing issue where performance on GNOME can feel weird to some GPUs, and you have to do like this weird thing, I forget what it is, to make it like super snappy and whatnot. I didn't bother to do that. I just went straight back to Hyprland because I didn't want to have to mess around with things to screw up or cause issues for the graphics card. But the performance on my NVIDIA GPU has been great. I have no complaints minus Halo Infinite and The Last of Us 2 with the 57% performance drop. And I did calculate that, by the way. I went into Windows, I grabbed my max, my min, my average, and then I went into Halo Infinite and Linux and I did the same thing. And I did some math and it was 57%. So, yeah, it is what it is. Now, I gotta go upload this Hyprland configuration on GitHub. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to help me defeat the evil algorithmic monster known as YouTube. It uses AI, unfortunately, because it's not smart enough to actually have a proper algorithm. And, you know, like and comment, share your opinions and stuff like that. I know not everyone is going to have a good NVIDIA experience. I get that. I've been told by so many people, and most of those people have experiences from 1 to 2 to 3 or older. And the people that have good experiences, they switch back to NVIDIA. They're having almost no problems whatsoever. And that just shows how much NVIDIA has evolved. So let me get this. I'm going to state this for you. If you made it this far in the video, the word to post with your comment is owl. You could also make a reference to Hermione Granger if you want. I am not an owl. You know, from the 4th movie. If your NVIDIA experience on Linux is older than a year, unfortunately, it's invalidated by time. As drivers update, things get fixed, Wayland improves. And that has been the case for NVIDIA. And trying to deny this fact and being like, it doesn't work on my machine, so it doesn't work on yours, is the equivalent of saying, the square will fit in the circle. The square will fit in the circle. It doesn't. Time passes, things improve, NVIDIA improves, everything has regressions, everything falls back. but everything will eventually fall forward. And that owl is staring me down some hard. Anybody have that feeling like he's going to try to jump out and rip my nose off? Yeah, bring it. I'm bigger than you. And look at you in your little bald spot, huh? Comb over ain't going to help you, friend. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day. Again, subscribe, you know, hit the like button, do the comment stuff, help me defeat the evil organization known as YouTube. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody. Oh, yeah, by the way, in your comment, if you want me to do a bunch of videos showing off my performance, let me know. You know, be very verbal about it, and I will do so. Owl. That's the word. Owl with a hat, if you made it here.